you doing? It's a nice day outside, so I thought I'd bring it to the stump top. So what we're looking at today is a review of this knife. This is the CRKT Bombastic. It's quite a different looking knife, and it's something that I'd been meaning to get for a while because it is, it's different. Nothing like this. It's sort of a mixed utility knife with a very combat aesthetic. And even in terms of the name, the general appearance, it's called the Bombastic because I think it looks a bit like a classic sort of bomb falling through the sky, sort of kind of thing. It's designed by Ken Onion, and it's got a few of his current design flourishes. So if you know his home front range, it's got the same pivot there, the star kind of, again, very sort of Red Army militaristic kind of pivot cover there. And it's got sort of a general sort of black and industrial grey aesthetic going on as well. Obviously the most prominent feature is this little cross guard here, which one being forming a part of the pivot, the flipper system, but the other one simply being there for the look of it and for, that whole faux blade guard thing. So this is the knife in my hand. It's not a small knife, it's not a huge knife, it's somewhere in the middle. What I will do now is I will take it just down here to stump top, and we'll compare it to some other knives, and I'll tell you everything I think you need to know about it. I really enjoy this knife, so I think I'll be able to explain it in a way that might let you know if you will too. Alright, so looking at it here, you'll see it's against some other kind of knives. So I've got pretty much running a spectrum from pure EDC through to, high utility or combat tactical kind of knives. So you've got a small Sebenza, which I'll open now. A small Sebenza 21. You've got a Benchmade 940, probably a little bit more hard work utility in that one there. You got the Bombastic, and then you've got the zero tolerance 0562. Then you've got an Emerson Knives CQC 7B, sorry. So you see here, it's kind of if you're looking from more of a plain looking or non-threatening looking through to sort of your proper large kind of folding tactical knives, it sort of sits somewhere in the middle in my opinion. In terms of the sizes, you're probably seeing that fairly well illuminating. It's about the same size as a Benchmade 940 as its closest proximate here. You find a fair bit more weight in the Bombastic, because if we look here, you'll notice that this is a solid steel lined knife, and then the steel flares out to create bolsters at either end. So that does add a fair bit of weight. I did bring the scales out here, sort of makeshift, but let's get it going. I brought the scales out here, and let's see how much this thing weighs. So it's 125 grams. So when you compare that to the Sebenza's 75 grams or the 940's 81 grams, it's a little bit extra weight to be carrying around. And you do sort of notice it in hand, I feel as well. It does have a little bit more heft to it. The bearing system is IKBS, which is probably a slightly more fragile bearing system or washer system than any of these knives has here. The KVT on the zero tolerance has bearings, but they are set into a washer, and the rest of them are just on either Teflon or bronze phosphor washers. So the IKBS can be a little bit of a pain to clean, and also a little bit more prone to grit, and kind of has a bit more of a limited lifespan, still in the span of years and years rather than months and months, but definitely something to be aware of. This, although it kind of looks like it falls into the home front series of knives, and about the same time it was released and all that, it's not that sort of take out into the sand and beat the crap out of it kind of knife. It's definitely got a bit more of a sense of elegance to it, I'd suggest. So the knife flips really well, being on IKBS, no worries at all there. It runs 8CR13 MOV steel in the blade, which is about what you get from most things out of CRKT, and about what you expect for the price point, which is this is a 60 to 70 Australian dollar knife, which in something with a longer blade like this and a sort of a beefier feel, liner lock, it's pretty full featured, so it's about fair on price. I wouldn't mind a slightly better steel, but there you have it. You don't get one, so there you are. But in terms of how the blade actually performs, it's a really well done blade. It's kind of ground nice and thin. It's not a massively thick blade, even at the thickest point, so it's about 940 thickness. And then it's got like a nice tapered swedge here, and it is ground very nicely behind the edge. It's not fat behind the edge at all. And being a full flat grind to be good on your food prep or pretty much your general everyday tasks. Now they've sharpened this swedge here to give that illusion of that thrusting dagger style appearance, which is definitely the aesthetic it's going for. Whether this knife would be any good for any task like that, I'm not experienced to spectate on, or speculate on, is probably the more correct word, but it's definitely in running with the appearance of the thing as well. Overall, the handle is kind of how I like handles, nice and generic. So getting a good old firm hammer grip on the handle, you'll notice no hot spots at all. The pocket clip is one way. They've got a very specific type of pocket clip here, which wouldn't really fit on the other ends of the knife. It would have been nice for them to have put it on the other side just to suit the lefties, but seeing it is just drilled in, but there you go, they didn't. So it's too bad, I suppose. And but however, gripping and squeezing it, although it's quite a large or eye-catching pocket clip in terms of being sort of a bit wider than your standard clips, it's definitely nice and low profile, and you don't really feel it in your hand when you bear down on the knife. In terms of use of the knife, the top crossguard will keep you at a bit of a distance. You can reach around it and put your thumb on the back, but then you will be running the risk of occasionally in clumsy cuts catching the back of your thumb on this heavily jimped section here. Both of these have heavy jimping on them, which is one of the things I would sort of suggest wasn't completely necessary in this knife. Because I'll show some close-up photos of this right now, but it is probably not particularly relied upon, because there is enough material here to stop a hand coming forwards. And yeah, it definitely does serve more of a bother than a pleasant or a useful thing. So that's probably one thing I would have changed about the knife. Another thing I probably would have done is milled out the liners a little bit, try and get that weight down. But apart from that, for what it is, for a very different sort of style of knife, and a very just something unique and something a bit quirky, it's really, really well put together, well made, and I think it's a really, really good design. There isn't too much going around like this at the minute, and I'd love to see a couple more of these old sort of classic. This is going after the old sort of stiletto kind of knife pattern. I'd like to see a bit more of this sort of come back. Just people being a bit more bold, or a bit more, not ashamed to make knives that look like old knives that we've seen in our books and stuff. So very, very cool. Anyway, from CRKT and Ken Angyan. This is a G10 or an FRN slab here. I think it might just be FRN. It doesn't offer a great deal extra of grip. The main obvious locking in hand comes from coming up on the guard here. It doesn't really offer as in pulling away grip or anything like that, but it's still fine as long as you've got reasonable hand strength. Apart from that, I think it's a pretty good value for money kind of knife, seeing it as you're getting a fairly unique design in this current field of knives. You're getting a sort of very solid and well put together frame. The tolerances and everything seem pretty good. The centering of the knife is just fine. All the standards for out of the box quality control are certainly there. And it's one of the more impressive CRKTs I've had so far at all. I've had a lot of CRKTs come across my desk that I pretty promptly give away, but this one I think is going to be sticking around because it is just a little bit different and a little bit quirky. And you know what, it's kind of like sort of a bit of a dude knife, a bit of a bro knife to sort of carry around and maybe take out next time I'm out in the woods with a bunch of fellas, and they'll say, oh, what is that? That's pretty cool. And I'll say, yeah, this is a fully awesome dagger type knife. How cool is it? And they'll say, yeah man, that's pretty damn cool. Anyway, that's kind of how I expect that to go. We'll see if it's the case, but you never know. So the CRKT Bombastic, it's a good one, and I do recommend it if you can get one. It's certainly nothing wrong with it, apart from the steel being a bit low end and the whole knife being a tad heavy. Left-handers probably not having the best set of options, and even options in general. Tip down, not usually how I prefer to carry my knives, but there you go. But overall, for what it is, very little else is done wrong, and I'd recommend it. CRKT Bombastic. I'll see you later, guys.